I'd like to call the March 23rd work session for the Sarasota County School Board to order. First on the agenda is the progress monitoring, which we'll spend a lot of time on this morning. And I would like for the presenter to make their presentation, jot down any questions you have, and we'll come back to them if possible. Dr. Brennan?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate that. This morning, our first item is progress monitoring data. And as you know, I think it was our last workshop, we talked about the iReady data and some of that progress monitoring data. And today, we wanted to bring up some of our other progress monitoring items that we have here in our school district. And then after sharing that with you, we do have two teachers here. Because I know that we've been sharing a lot of data, and I thought maybe it'd be great to, after we share some more data, to say, okay, now what do we do with that data? And have a couple of teachers here to talk about how the data informs their instruction and what they do and how they work together with their teammates as they prepare their lessons and so forth. So I appreciate our two teachers who are here today. And at this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Laura.
So I'm going to drive the PowerPoint for the folks, so that's why I'm up here. But I just want to preview this. It's going to be a quick look at some of the data.
Is your mic on?
Yes. Yes, it is. Our directors, I want to start that off. First of all, I hope you all had a nice spring break. We really enjoyed it. I know our teachers and our administrators and our district staff really appreciated the time. So welcome back from spring break. And now we're digging right in. We're going to do a very quick review of a couple of data points that you have not seen. One is the new state assessment. We want to go into that a little more detail. Sue's going to show you how we're doing in civics. And then Denise is going to do a quick look at our dashboard, just maybe a review for some of you, but we want you to see the teacher dashboard. Just see it. It's overwhelming with data, but we do want you to see it. We're not going to go into detail. And then we want to talk about how we track our middle school and high school children, all of them, to get them over the finish line. And we want to give you a glimpse. Kelly's going to give you a glimpse into some of the resources that our very hardworking curriculum teams created, along with some of our teachers, to help support them during this very strange year. So the finale is with Carrie Johnson and Ashley Hernandez, who are incredible teachers in the district. We're so grateful that they gave up a little time for this. So here we go. First up is Catherine.
Oh, now it's on. It was on. I know, it wasn't on earlier, sorry. So hello, the APM is formally known as the Adaptive Progress Monitoring Program. The APM assessments are short computer adaptive tests designed to provide information at the student level that can be used to guide instruction. We added the APM as an additional English language arts progress monitoring tool for grades 9 and 10 this year as a pilot. This report that you see in front of you on the screen is the aggregate level of the overall performance distribution on the grade 9 reading. Teachers can view reports on the items and student responses, and at the student level, teachers can receive individual scores reported on the FSA scale, the overall performance level for a student, and details about performance by reporting category levels. So if you look, you see by state, district, and school in the first column. The second column should give you the number of students that participated in the assessment. This year at the high schools, we do not see a large number of participation across the state yet, but it's the first year the APM has been in use. And then the third column gives you the average scale score, which the state has said is on the FSA scaling system. And then the final score gives you a breakdown of how the students are faring. So if you look at our state and district comparison, we are outperforming the state. When you look and you break down by schools, you can start to see where our schools are falling. What I find the most interesting about this report for our schools and our teachers is that when you break it down by students and teachers in the classroom, the teachers are able to dig in and see by question where their students are finding success and where they aren't finding success. So you're getting the big picture in front of you, but at the classroom level, teachers are able to really see what's happening with each of their individual students. The next slide shows you what we look like for grade 10. And again, this is at the very high level. So we're still outperforming what the state averages look like. But what's most important to note, I think, in this part of the presentation is that our teachers are really finding value in this tool. So much so that when we asked them to use this one time, they did, but they've asked us to actually use it during this benchmark window, which is their USA. Normally we'd be doing the USA test prep with our second administration, but every school in every English department for grades 9 and 10 had asked to use this in lieu of USA test prep, which is good news for us because when you have the two tests, the state has told us that we will have some longitudinal data. So the next time I come up here, I look forward to sharing with you kind of what that results, how those results are looking. Our window closes on March 31st, so we're right in the middle of it. So thank you.
Good morning. I wanted to give you some additional information regarding additional progress monitoring that we do in middle schools. You know we use iReady for English language arts and mathematics, but in addition to that, for our social studies courses and our science courses, we have common unit assessments. So across all of our schools, students are given a unit assessment in common based on when they are ready to take that assessment. So as the teachers are finished teaching a unit, they take that assessment and then they get data by each standard and benchmark as to how the students performed. That's for all of our science courses and all of our social studies courses. The program specialists then reach out to those teachers at each school, join them at PLCs, and have data discussions to again decide how to inform instruction, how to remediate for students who maybe didn't do so well, and then to move forward with next units of study. The data that you have in front of you is really a chart showing year over year. So just at a glance, if you look at the first line there under quarter 1, unit 1 average, you will see that in green, those are our schools who have performed higher this year on average than our students performed last year. So 6 of our 8 middle schools have higher scores on that first unit of study this year than last year. That was really promising information considering the year that we're in. You'll also see then in the yellow line the percent of students who actually took the assessment. So our goal is always 100%, but we celebrate those schools who have had 90% or more of their students who have participated in the assessment. And then again, this data is shared with our principals and assistant principals so that they can continue to have those conversations with teachers at the schools about this information. One thing you may note on here is that units were taught out of order this year. With it being an election year, they moved Unit 6 up to the beginning of the year to make it very appropriate and relevant for students' learning. And therefore, you'll see that there was no data last year for Unit 6 because it's typically taught at the end of the school year, and you know what happened last spring. So we weren't doing those common assessments then. So this gives a glance of what it looks like, but then again, the importance of it is at the teacher level and obviously the student level. We will continue to monitor this. We will be pulling data again at the end of quarter 3. It also helps us to see if teachers are keeping on pace with their instruction and teachers working across the district to see how different schools are performing on these assessments. So again, for both science and social studies in middle school, we're very proud of this common assessment methodology. Thank you.
So I'll follow up and discuss dashboards. I've been here several times over the years talking about dashboards, but I wanted to give just another, for our new board members especially, a little bit of an overview about those that we've created. All of our dashboards, this was the first one we've ever created, but all of them were designed with the goal of answering questions that were frequently being asked of us over and over again, the public and then internal as well. So the overall design is very similar from dashboard to dashboard. They're all filterable. You can choose, this one is about the district grade, but you can choose and go down and drill down to specific populations and specific schools. So this one depicts the 12 components of district grade. It was designed to answer all the questions about performance of schools, grades, student groups, and on the particular indicators that go into the calculation of grade. If you went today to this dashboard, of course, it would be 18-19 data, because that's the last time we received a district grade or a school grade. This year, if data becomes available, we'll repopulate this with the latest information. So if you flip to the next, now there, where we were was really broad scale, right? We're looking at everything from a big piece. Our latest dashboard, well, not, 2 dashboards ago, was the teacher dashboard. The teacher dashboard was a really exciting project. Many years ago, we had something very rudimentary like this in spreadsheets, but it was time to move to the 21st century and develop something where teachers could really access information, real-time data about their students. And if you spend time with it, it looks a bit overwhelming. There's probably 8 different panels to this dashboard. We can get all different types of information. A teacher can drill down into this dashboard to their individual students. It wasn't that long ago, actually, where a teacher would come to our first day of school or 2 weeks before school started, and they may have the names of their students. But now they have all the historical information about every student that they're going to teach. And they can also go back in time and they can say, well, how did my students do that I had last year? Or how did my students do that I had 2 years ago? And follow up on those children. We frequently would have requests for that from individual teachers. Well, now they can do it on their own. So this particular dashboard was designed to answer questions that you see there on your left. How did my students perform prior to coming? How are the students I have taught previously doing now? What students' strengths and weaknesses does this data highlight? How do the results of this class at this grade compare to the rest of the school? And what trends do I notice across the assessments? So at their fingertips, they really can reach down into every child, and we're always enhancing it. It's filterable. They can look for different student populations and see how specific students are doing. When you're a high school teacher and you have 120 students, you can drill into it and look at specific student groups that you're working with. So we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about it. And as I said, I think one of the most important reasons we did it is that when a teacher comes first day, they can look and prepare and start beginning their instructional process before school even starts. A position that was so generously funded by the Patterson Foundation and has been funded